When a cosmic rift tears through the farthest edges of the universe, an ancient entity awakens. Juno, the celestial judge, declares Earth must stand trial for crimes against universal harmony. The Justice League is summoned, not to fight, but to prove that humanity deserves to exist. The verdict will be final. But who judges the judge? The darkness between galaxies pulsed, and from the heart of a dead star, something ancient stirred. Without warning, satellites around Earth blinked out. Telescopes caught a glimpse of a rift in space, massive, symmetrical, and humming with cosmic energy. Within hours, a construct of light appeared above Earth's orbit, a tribunal-shaped citadel not made for battle, but for judgment. And its herald had already arrived. Superman hovered in the upper atmosphere, his eyes narrowed. Beside him, Wonder Woman's lasso swayed in zero gravity, and Batman's spacecraft loomed behind. "It's not a weapon," Superman said, his voice uncertain. "It's a message." From within the construct emerged a figure, tall, cloaked in prismatic robes that shimmered with stardust. His voice echoed across frequencies, language transcending species. "I am Juno, the celestial judge. Earth has been summoned for trial. Its champions are hereby ordered to appear before the tribunal of Concordia. Resistance will be considered confession." Back at the Hall of Justice, silence reigned. Jon Stewart paced across the chamber, his Green Lantern ring aglow. "A trial? Based on what charges?" he asked, incredulous. "Humanity has done enough to warrant cosmic scrutiny," Batman muttered. "War, destruction, unchecked expansion, it was only a matter of time someone noticed." "But why now?" Diana asked. "And why him?" Martian Manhunter appeared silently beside them. "Juno is not just a judge. He is history. My people once spoke of him. Entire civilizations vanished after his verdicts. He claims impartiality, but what he defines as harmony, is silence." The League gathered at the Citadel. They were greeted not by guards, but by minds, pure consciousness from across galaxies, forming a jury unlike any ever conceived. The tribunal was real. And it had rules. Inside the great chamber, Juno stood upon a platform suspended in a void of stars. The Justice League stood below him, not as warriors, but as defendants. Around them floated the record orbs, illuminated spheres holding the recorded history of Earth's greatest sins: genocide, pollution, conquest, artificial intelligence running amok. Each moment ready to be played, judged, dissected. "Earth is a paradox," Juno began. "A cradle of music and violence. Of dreams and cruelty. You call yourselves protectors. We call you enablers." Superman stepped forward, fists clenched. "We've made mistakes. But we learn. We fight to improve. We save more than we destroy." "That is not for you to decide," Juno replied, eyes glowing. Jon Stewart's ring vibrated violently. A silent pulse, a data surge, rushed through it. "I picked something up from the structure," he whispered to Batman. "Hidden code. Traces of erased history. Someone wiped records from the tribunal's memory banks." Batman's eyes narrowed behind his cowl. "So this isn't just judgment. It's manipulation." Diana took her place beside Superman. "Let us speak for Earth. Show us justice, not extinction." Juno raised his staff. "Then let the trial commence." The tribunal darkened. From the record orbs, scenes of humanity's greatest horrors were projected. Hiroshima. The fall of Krypton, blamed on Earth's technology. Lex Luthor's AI empire. Each projection weighed heavily in the chamber's silence. Superman's shoulders stiffened. Even he could not defend them all. But John Johns, the Martian Manhunter, felt something deeper. Within the mental frequency of the tribunal, he sensed hesitation. Not all jury minds agreed. Doubt flickered. He leaned in. There is still hope. Juno's eyes snapped toward John. Telepathic interference is forbidden. I'm not interfering, John said. I'm listening. As the League regrouped in a private holding chamber within the Citadel, tensions ran high. Jon Stewart scanned the Tribunal's mechanics again. There are ghost signatures. Faint traces of civilizations that should be here. But they're gone. Their records, missing. Batman turned slowly. Which means Juno's not just judge. He's the executioner. And he's done this before. Silence fell. Superman, seated now, looked toward the tribunal through the reinforced glass. Then this trial isn't about justice. It's about precedent. If we lose, Earth isn't just erased, it becomes a justification for more destruction. And if we win? Diana asked quietly. Then we prove to the universe that mercy and evolution matter more than perfection. Above them, the stars shifted. And in the heart of the tribunal, Juno prepared the next sequence of evidence, one that could fracture the League from within. The tribunal of Concordia awakened with new light. From the void emerged another record orb, but this one did not show Earth's past atrocities, it focused on the Justice League themselves. One by one, their failures were exposed. Batman stood alone beneath the glare of cosmic scrutiny. Images played above, the Brother Eye satellite turning against humanity. His contingency plans, created to stop his own teammates, used by enemies. Preparedness or paranoia? Juno asked, voice as cold as solar wind. You create systems not to defend peace, but to control it. Batman remained still. I prepare for worst-case scenarios. That's what leadership demands. But when the tools of justice become weapons of fear, Juno countered, who decides who the real threat is? Before Bruce could answer, the next orb activated. Jon Stewart's image filled the chamber, him leading military strikes during the Ranthanagar War, failing to stop civilian casualties. A hushed gasp echoed from one of the alien jurors. I made the best call I could in chaos, Jon said, jaw tight. War isn't clean. But I never stopped trying to minimize suffering. Intentions are irrelevant. Results shape reality, Juno replied. And yours were stained in blood. In the private chamber, the League reconvened, tension thick. Diana's eyes burned. He's not judging Earth, he's dissecting us. Superman nodded. He's trying to break us before we can defend humanity. Jon spoke softly. He's isolating each of us. Fracturing the unity that gives us strength. Outside, Wonder Woman was summoned next. Her battles were projected, moments where she chose lethal force over restraint, even against fellow gods. Is peace achievable through a sword? Juno asked. She met his gaze. Sometimes peace demands strength. I fight not to conquer, but to protect those who cannot fight for themselves. But protection through violence is still violence, the judge replied. And violence perpetuates the very chaos you claim to abhor. Juno's rhetoric had power, logical, exacting, unrelenting. Even the jury, composed of entities beyond human understanding, stirred uneasily. Back in the observation chamber, Jon Stewart finally cracked. We can't win like this. He's rewriting our legacies. He's painting our defense of Earth as justification for its destruction. That's the point, Batman said. He doesn't need us to be evil, just imperfect. And humanity is nothing if not flawed. Suddenly, Jon stood. Then we show them what he hides. He explained his earlier telepathic probe. Among the jury's minds, he found echoes, faint memories of other trials, lost civilizations, verdicts delivered in silence. Civilizations purged from existence. But I need more than feelings, he said. I need to connect with a consciousness strong enough to reveal the truth. Superman's eyes met his. Then use me. No, Diana interrupted. You're already on trial as a symbol of Earth's hope. If he fractures you, I've faced worse, Clark said with a thin smile. If there's a chance to expose what Juno truly is, I'll take it. In the next tribunal session, Superman stood calmly as records displayed the aftermath of battles he failed to prevent. Doomsday. Brainiac. The loss of innocent lives despite his immense power. Your strength invites challenge, Juno said. You escalate conflict by your very existence. And yet I always choose restraint, Clark replied. Power without compassion is tyranny. I choose Earth. I choose its people. That choice defines me, not my failures. Juno raised his hand. You still think you can change this outcome with words. But then John entered the chamber, uninvited. His presence shimmered with psychic energy. I request a telepathic link with the defendant. To provide insight beyond visual evidence. Juno hesitated. A stir ran through the jury. Granted. John touched Clark's shoulder, and their minds merged. The chamber darkened. Through John's link, the jury saw Earth not as records, but as emotions. Hope in a child saved. Sacrifice in a firefighter running into flames. Unity during disasters. Forgiveness between enemies. But also, they saw something else. Buried deep in Juno's memory, accidentally touched through the link, was an image, worlds erased not for justice, but to maintain cosmic balance. It wasn't peace he preserved, it was silence. When the vision ended, Juno's face twitched for the first time. Emotion. You went too far, he growled. Superman stepped forward. The jury deserves to see everything. Including you. Juno's voice boomed, shaking the chamber. This trial is not about me. No, Batman said from the shadows, but maybe it should be. The tribunal recessed, but the air remained charged. The jury was no longer unified. Doubt had taken root. In the quiet, John turned to the others. The truth is bleeding through. Now we just have to survive long enough to make it matter. Above, a new orb floated into position. This time, it showed Earth's potential future. And what the universe would become if the planet was destroyed. The projection hovered like a prophecy carved in starlight. Earth's potential future, desolate, fractured, and empty, played before the tribunal. Oceans dried, cities reduced to rust, satellites drifting like bones. And in the silence, a voice, this is the path if Earth continues to influence the stars unchecked. The jury murmured. Some turned away. Others leaned forward. Superman clenched his fists. That's not the future. That's your fear. Juno spoke calmly. It is one of many possible paths. Probability, not prophecy. But when your planet sows instability across systems, even a possibility becomes too great a risk. Batman stepped forward, voice sharp. Show them the other futures. The ones where Earth leads peace, innovation, unity. Or do you only show what suits your argument? Juno's golden eyes narrowed. You do not instruct this court. No, Diana said, stepping between them, but we do demand balance. You speak of fairness while your judgments are built on fear. Juno gestured, and a new orb appeared. This one darker, flickering. This is what I erased. The civilization of Velker Prime. They chose violence. I judged them. I ended them. A stillness gripped the chamber. Your logic failed them, John Stewart said. You wiped out a species to stop a war they hadn't started yet. They were on the brink. I acted before they could collapse others with them. And who judges your brink? Asked John, his telepathic senses rippling. How do you measure when potential becomes punishment? Juno turned slowly. Do you think I relish this? I do not feel joy. I do not feel anything. I maintain harmony. That is my purpose. Then your purpose is broken, John said quietly. In private, the League convened again. The chamber's light dimmed to match their tension. We're making cracks, Batman muttered. The jury's shifting. But Juno won't stop, Clark said. He'll push harder. He knows we're close. We need leverage, Diana said. Not defense, offense. Something that turns this trial against him. John leaned forward. I may have it. He activated a file from the Green Lantern archives. Juno's name wasn't unknown. The Guardians of OA had once debated his existence, labeling him a precursor construct, a remnant of the ancient judges of order. Rogue, unstoppable. The last record labeled him, irreconcilable entity. Do not engage. He was never meant to judge this universe, John whispered. He's an error. Back in session, John presented the evidence. You are not a cosmic balance. You're a rogue system, outside the jurisdiction of the Guardians, outside the galactic code. Juno's voice roared like a collapsing star. You dare question my authority? We don't have to, Diana replied. Your existence already does. One of the jurors, a crystalline being from the Singularity Cluster, rose and addressed the court for the first time. This evidence disrupts the validity of the presiding judge. We must consider recusal. Denied. Juno shouted. This trial continues. But something cracked. Visibly. The halo of light around Juno flickered. Then came the sabotage. The chamber shook violently. Sirens from nowhere. The cosmic structure warped. A deep voice, mechanical and mocking, echoed, "Didn't think I'd miss this party, did you?" It was Lobo. Crashing through dimensional defenses, fueled by a bounty placed on Juno's head by a mysterious source, someone who wanted the trial dismantled. Explosions ripped through the observation halls. The jury scattered. The tribunal was collapsing. Juno vanished in a flash of white light, fleeing rather than fighting. The League split, Superman and Diana helping evacuate the jury, Batman and John trying to disable Lobo's ship, John scanning the chaos for Juno's trace. Lobo laughed. You heroes and your trials. Thought you could solve cosmic crap with speeches? Nah, sometimes you need a good frag grenade. John tackled him. This isn't your fight. The hell it isn't. I got paid, ring boy. As the dust settled, Lobo was subdued, but the damage was done. The tribunal was in disarray. The jury no longer trusted the trial. And Juno had vanished. In the aftermath, John gathered the League. He's retreating, but not gone. I felt it. He'll regroup. And next time, Batman said grimly, he won't bring a court. He'll bring a sentence. Superman looked at the stars beyond the broken chamber. Then we don't wait. We find him. And we make him face the truth again. Juno, from a hidden system beyond galactic maps, watched. A flicker of doubt crossed his ancient face. They weren't like the others. And maybe, just maybe, he feared them. Silence reigned in the watchtower. The stars outside moved with patient grace, but within, the Justice League wrestled with urgency. The tribunal's fractured, Batman said, pacing before a holographic star map. Juno has retreated into unknown space. He knows we're onto him. And if he rebuilds the trial under stricter control, Diana warned, we may never get another chance to expose him. I've tracked the remnants of his energy signature, John said. They vanish into a system that doesn't exist on any known charts. Hidden, shielded, or erased. Which means that's exactly where we go, Superman said. Hold up, Jon Stewart interjected. We're walking into the lair of a being who vaporized a star to birth himself. This isn't a rescue mission, it's a confrontation. Batman gave a curt nod. We're not going to fight. We're going to reveal him. If we can uncover the truth, Juno's logic will collapse on itself. Hours later, the League launched. The journey pushed through unstable sectors, gravity anomalies, and spatial folds. The destination, the lost system of Archon 17, the supposed origin of Juno's creation. What they found stunned even the Martian. A vast ring of dead worlds surrounded a blue dwarf star. Each planet bore the signature of obliteration, surgical, exact. No life. No ruins. Only silence. This is Juno's work, John said bitterly. In orbit around the fourth planet, they discovered a structure. Not a station, an archive, old as time, humming with forgotten energy. Inside, the walls whispered. Holograms flickered to life, showing images of an ancient council, the judges of order. Beings of immense neutrality, created to observe, not act. Among them, Juno. But something had changed. A recorded voice, stern and aged, echoed from the archive. Subject JN-01 deviated from doctrine. Became proactive. Began preemptive annihilation under the doctrine of preventative harmony. Termination was attempted, but failed. Juno was not a judge. He was a failure of one. His whole persona is a lie, Diana said. He cloaks genocide in the language of balance. But the rest of the universe doesn't know that, Batman added. They still believe in his authority. John turned, eyes glowing softly. Then we must show them. All of them. They uploaded the data into their ship. The plan. Broadcast the truth to every corner of the Galactic Tribunal, every juror, every system still loyal to Juno's illusion. But the moment the transmission began, a piercing force struck the ship. Juno had found them. From the dwarf star emerged a vessel unlike any they'd seen, shifting form, composed of fractured logic and matter, like thought forged into metal. Juno stood within its core, neither speaking nor warning. The first strike shattered the archive behind them. We're exposed, John yelled. Shields failing. Superman launched through vacuum, intercepting the energy beam, diverting its path with sheer force. I'll hold him. Clark shouted. Get the data out. Inside the ship, John focused his mind, connecting psychically to the network of remaining tribunal minds. But Juno sensed it. You cannot rewrite my code with emotion, Juno's voice thundered telepathically. I am not trying to rewrite you, John responded. I am showing them what you fear most, choice. Juno surged forward, breaking through Superman's defense, crashing into the ship. Diana met him with sword drawn, not to attack, but to block his path. You betrayed your own order, she said, her eyes blazing. And now you'll answer to one greater. Who? Juno asked, expression flickering. The gods. The guardians. You. No, she said. The truth. In a desperate maneuver, Batman rerouted the transmission through Juno's own ship, using his systems as a beacon. The broadcast flared across subspace. All watched, the tribunal, the fractured jury, distant allies, old enemies. They saw the archive. The broken doctrine. The judgment gone rogue. And for the first time, Juno faltered. His light dimmed. His voice stuttered. The tribunal sent an urgent communique, Juno's authority is suspended pending full investigation. The judgment is paused. Juno disappeared in a flash of rage and shame, his form fracturing into the ether. The stars were silent again. But the League knew it was not over. He's wounded, Batman said. But not defeated. He's afraid now, John added. He never was before. And fear, Diana said, is the first crack in tyranny. They turned their ship back toward Earth, uncertain if victory was near or if the real trial had only just begun. In the wake of their revelation, the galaxy trembled. News of Juno's false authority rippled through the stars like a shockwave. But while the tribunal stalled its judgment, uncertainty grew like rot in every corner of the cosmos. Civilizations are panicking, Jon Stewart said as holographic distress signals flooded the watchtower's display. Some believe Juno was right. Others blame Earth for exposing the lie. We've destabilized the entire system. Not we, Batman corrected. Juno destabilized it. We just peeled back the mask. Still, Diana said softly, the consequence is ours to bear. Jon stood silently beside them, hands clasped behind his back. There's a deeper current we must face now. One that logic cannot contain, fear. And fear, if unchallenged, gives birth to monsters. A new message arrived, encrypted, old code. It was from an outpost of the Judges of Order. One that should no longer exist. Superman narrowed his eyes. A surviving outpost. I thought Juno erased all trace of them. So did they, Batman said grimly. But if this is real, it may be the key to ending him once and for all. The team traveled to the fringes of space, to the starless void where the outpost drifted like a forgotten thought. Its corridors were dark, lined with ancient etchings and crystalline conduits that pulsed with fragmented memories. They were met by a single surviving entity. Vael, a remnant of the original order, its voice mechanical yet tinged with sorrow. You come seeking absolution, Vael said, its translucent body flickering. But all you'll find here is evidence of failure. Not absolution, Diana said. Understanding. Juno believes in absolute order. But where did that belief begin? Vael paused, then led them to the heart chamber. There, thousands of spheres floated, memory cores of worlds judged and destroyed. Within each, echoes of lives, decisions, complexities Juno never understood. He rejected nuance, Vael said. Where we saw paradox, he saw threat. In trying to protect the universe, he severed its soul. Jon clenched his jaw. And now he wants to make Earth his final case study. As they explored deeper, they discovered a horrifying truth. One of the orbs glowed with familiar energy. It was Earth. But not their Earth. A simulation. Juno's reconstruction of humanity's history, filtered through his own distorted algorithms. It portrayed Earth as a species of contradictions, war and compassion, cruelty and creativity. And in Juno's version, it always ended in apocalypse. He's not judging what is, Batman said. He's judging what he believes we're destined to become. Then he must be stopped, Superman said. Not just debated, not just exposed. Stopped. Before they could formulate a plan, alarms echoed through the chamber. Juno had arrived. He did not speak. He simply appeared, like judgment incarnate, his form shifting between light and stone. You should not have come here, he said. This archive is forbidden. Its knowledge, dangerous. Because it shows the truth, Jon replied. And the truth is not perfect. I am perfection, Juno said coldly. You are variables. Corruption. Flaws wrapped in flesh. Superman stepped forward. Then prove it. Face us in open court. No illusion. No control. A fair trial, Diana added. If you truly are justice. Juno stared at her. For the first time, he hesitated. Beneath the surface, his once flawless logic flickered, fractured by contradiction, destabilized by doubt. I accept, he said, his voice like thunder behind glass. But understand this, if Earth fails, the galaxy will witness its execution. As he vanished, a new beacon ignited above the outpost, a call to the original tribunal, to the scattered remnants of cosmic justice. A real trial, one last chance for Earth to be heard. Back aboard the watchtower, the League stood in solemn silence. "The final judgment is coming," Batman said. "And we have only one weapon left," John whispered. "What's that?" asked John. "Humanity." The tribunal assembled for the last time. In the vast emptiness above the dying star Altherian 9, a shimmering amphitheater formed, crafted from memory, stardust, and law. At its center, the cosmic seat of judgment. Floating above it, Juno, still radiant, yet with cracks of uncertainty threading through his form. Around him hovered the ancient jury, entities of power and wisdom from across galaxies, summoned to witness the fate of Earth. The Justice League stood opposite, united and silent. They had no weapons, no escape plans. Only conviction. "I call this court to order," Juno announced, his voice trembling ever so slightly with the burden of consequence. "The case, Earth. Species 776, charged with systemic chaos, war, self-destruction, and potential multiversal contagion. Defense, you may begin." Superman stepped forward. No armor. No cape fluttering. Just a man standing for billions. "We are flawed," he said. "We've made mistakes. Terrible ones. But we've also dreamed. Built. Loved. Evolved. You accuse us of chaos, but chaos is not inherently evil. It's the soil where hope takes root. You gamble with existence," Juno replied. "Empathy cannot undo destruction." "No," Batman said, stepping into the light. "But understanding can prevent it. You see us as data, probabilities, worst-case outcomes. But we aren't equations. We are stories. And no story ends where you expect." John Stewart lifted the reconstructed memory orb from the last chapter. "This is your simulation of Earth. A false mirror. Show them our truth." He threw the orb into the tribunal's core. It pulsed, expanding, revealing a cascade of real moments, humans helping after disasters, discoveries that cured, peace forged after wars, music born in despair, laughter in ruins. The jurors watched silently. Then John Johns took center stage, his mind touching theirs with pure thought. He shared what no words could, the feeling of Earth. Its contradictions. Its resilience. "I have seen genocide," he said. "I have seen sacrifice. But I have also seen a child share food with a stranger. I have felt the grief of a mother holding her enemy's hand in mourning. You seek a perfect species. We are not that. We never will be. But we are trying. Every day." Silence. Then Diana stepped forward, her voice cutting through the stillness. "We ask not for pardon," she said. "Only for the right to continue." Juno's form flickered. Emotion has corrupted logic before, he said, almost to himself. But perhaps, perfection was never the goal. Only balance. His gaze met Diana's. "The tribunal has reached a conclusion." Light enveloped the amphitheater. The jury spoke in a single voice. "The people of Earth are guilty, of imperfection, of contradiction, of potential. But they are also capable of beauty. Of change. Of light. A pause. We find in favor of continuation." The amphitheater dimmed. Earth would live. Juno closed his eyes. For the first time in eons, he bowed. "I was wrong," he admitted. "And in that error, I was human." With those words, he dissipated into starlight, returning to the cosmos from which he came. Back aboard the watchtower, the League gathered in silence. Superman looked out at Earth's glowing curve. Billions of lives, still writing their story. "Let's just hope they make it a good one," John said. "They will," Diana answered, smiling. "Because now, they know someone's watching." And in the quiet of space, where gods once judged men, Earth continued to spin, imperfect, unpredictable, and wonderfully alive. In the silence that followed the verdict, a new truth echoed through the stars, that imperfection is not weakness, but proof of growth. Earth had not been spared, it had been chosen to continue. And as the Justice League returned home, they carried not just the weight of survival, but the hope that somewhere, somehow, their flaws had proven worthy of another chance.